Hi there. You are watching BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com with your co-hosts AnDrea Pettingill at Shine with Drea and Jenny A. Hansen at Jenny A. Hansen. This week's topic, nail technicians education. Do you need it?
Hello, hi, this is Jenny, and you are watching BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com. Today, we are talking about nail technicians. Do you feel like you need more education? And are you at a point where you are feeling like you need more education and just don't know where to find it? Well, that is something that we are going to be talking about today on this week's topic of Beauties Talking Business. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. And AnDrea is going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today.
Hello, I'm AnDrea Pettingill, and I'm so excited because today we're talking about education. Like Jenny said, we are going to talk about, first of all, getting clear on education, advanced education. It can look different for a lot of people, so we want to talk about what that means to us as being, techs in the industry for over 10 years. Jenny, you've been here for 12 years plus. And we're also going to give you guys some tips and some motivation to help you level up, to help you feel motivated to level up in your education. And we're going to give you our top tips for finding the right classes for you and doing what feels authentic to you as far as being able to grow that confidence level and grow your technique and your skills in your business and in the way that you do nails and your technique stuff, right? So we just want to thank you guys for taking time to be here today with us. And we just welcome any questions and anything that you guys have over on our Facebook page. Make sure you're there, every week checking in and having conversation there. And this is just a space for us to be authentic and to really share what tools are working for us. And Jenny and I love to show up just being totally respectful of everyone's business and what you're doing. And we hope that you guys can do the same. So with that, we're going to get into our first topics. Jenny's going to start us out. We're talking about, first off the bat, getting clear on what education is, because Jenny, don't you think like some people could kind of take that a couple different ways?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And I want to invite everyone to just be really present too, and maybe turn off your phone or close out any tabs, and just to be here with us.
Yes, that'd be so great.
But yeah, I think so. For education, we were talking about this a little bit, that how that looks so much different for so many people, and really versus education versus experience, and how it's not necessarily the same thing, right?
And don't you think that we used to think before we were even in beauty school, we think, oh, once I go to beauty school, then I'll have it figured out. Right. Even that, as being educated, is so not, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It takes the next and the next level and the next level. It's it never ends, really. Don't you think it's just this getting to the next level kind of a thing to improve your education?
Absolutely. And I feel like that there's a lot of nail technicians or anyone in the beauty industry that they really get to know things the way they're taught, and they become comfortable with that. And then that's just what you do year after year after year.
Yeah.
And a good example of this is I was taught, my grandmother had a nail school, and she's been doing nails for 30 years. So if you guys watch the show, you know a little bit about my story and that past there. But I saw her this past weekend, and she, she's 76, I think, and she's still doing nails. And she's like, Jenny, can you teach me how to do that shellac stuff? And I just thought that was so neat, because even though she's been doing nails for 30 plus years, and an educator and a teacher and all of this, there's still this new product to her, and she wants to learn it. And that is what being educated is to not be afraid to learn something new and to evolve with as the industry is evolving. And that's going to set you apart too. It's really going to set you apart, and you're going to make more money. You're going to have more loyal clients, and they're going to appreciate your time and value in that.
Yeah, I love that, because that was one of the points I wrote down. Is it's kind of like to be humble in your business and to avoid the I already know that syndrome. I don't know if you've heard that before, but it's like, oh, I'm good. I already know that. Instead, switch that around to thinking like just put yourself in the mindset of, I am a newbie. I am at this like base level, the first step, and just like bring it all back to reality. I did this a couple months ago. I was like, let me just like pretend that I am a newbie, and just like it opened up this possibility in my mind of a new excitement to like, ooh, like what if I was like brand new at nails? Like how exciting is that to like, right? Like it gives you this new like refreshing like, what would I do to go to the next level of like learning and just excitement and expansion? Like how could I grow in my business? I don't know, just like bringing yourself back to like I am a newbie, like just that thought of like beginner's mind. Thank you, that's what I was looking for. Beginner's mind. It's so refreshing, and it is forgiving.
Ooh.
Right, because you think, instead of being in the mindset of like, oh, I should already be at this certain level, instead of being like, you know what, I'm a newbie, too dumb to doubt. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, like too dumb to like, too naive to like think you are bad at something. Like, well, it's okay because I'm learning. Like to be in that beginner's, how do you say it? Beginner's mindset of like, it's okay because I'm learning, instead of like, oh, I should be able to do this better by now.
We do this all the time with our show, do we not?
Yeah.
We're exactly a perfect example of, you know,
Yeah.
the show alone. But it's so true, because if you can go into that with beginner's mind, and my husband, that's what he always calls it, because he's in the martial arts industry, and you know, and that just staying in that place of not you know, I know this already, but what can I learn? What can I learn? What else can I learn? Or how can I be better? And there's, I think, two parts to really motivate somebody to do this. Is one, that it's going to make you better no matter what. You're going to learn something that will make you better than the person who didn't advance their education.
Yeah.
Which means another thing, you know, more clients, more loyal clients, and more money. Yes. So that's not motivation enough. I think another motivational piece is just to keep yourself energetically refreshed and in a good space and passion, and you know, learning and growing and developing and pushing yourself, and you know, it's fun.
I think one thing that always motivates me is, well, maybe the flip side, what always like maybe like depresses or like makes me feel is stagnant, like being like stuck in same old, you know. Jenny, we were just talking about how like when I go to trade shows and stuff, people always ask the question, how long have you been doing nails? Like everyone always has to know, because I feel like we qualify or put people in like a slot of like where they're at and stuff, you know. And one thing that I heard when I was listening to a training CD is like, have you been doing the same thing? Like if you say, like for me, I've been doing nails for 10 years. Jenny, you've been doing like 13, 12 years.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I could have been doing nails, and I'll just be honest with you, the first 2 years of my career, so the first 2 years I didn't do nails in the salon. I did nails on the side.
Right, for fun, right?
Like for fun, and I did hair. So I've only been doing nails for 8 years, I could say. So that's when I got my license, was 10 years. So then it's like, have I been doing nails? Did I like learn how to do nails and then do nails 8 years? Like do nails for one, do I have the experience of doing nails for 1 year, 8 times? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Do I have 1 years of experience 8 times? Or do I have 10 years of each year advancing and doing something new, learning and doing something different, each year growing upon itself, instead of doing the same thing every year, you know, and going, you know what I mean? So people always kind of like, I don't know, they make it
juicy. That is so juicy, because it's true, and people think like, you know, oh, you know, you have this credibility, and I mean, I was just telling AnDrea too earlier that I had a new client come in, and their set of nails, I was doing a fill, looked okay. I could tell that it was done by someone that knew what they were doing. But I thought, oh, you know, maybe they're kind of new, and I could see some things in there that looked to me like maybe they've been doing nails like 3 years. Yeah. But I found out that the person who'd done the nails before had been doing them for 20. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
it's you get stuck in a certain way or become complacent, or you're just trying to get people in and out the door and get that money, and you're just like and you don't really challenge yourself and to grow and learn and educate, and
yourself.
then you're just going to become stagnant, and then your love and your passion will slowly wither away and die, and it'll feel like a trap.
We're right now in the 4th of July nail art season right now, okay? And there's something that every nail art season that comes up is so refreshing, because it's just this fun thing to like someone will bring you a new Pinterest design that you've never tried before, or you'll like want to combine it into something, and it's just like this boost of energy and refreshing to like that motivation to try something new. And when you get done, it's like, oh, like this is so fun. I love my job, and you get to post it all over social media. Like that is fun. That is so fun to learn something.
That challenge, yeah. And so, which that really segues into our next topic, which is, okay, this is all great, Jenny and Andrea, but where do I get the education? How do I find this education? And I actually, this is a little off topic, but not so much. But I remember I was talking to a salon owner who is actually very good at keeping his team together, and he's very good with education and continuing education. And he recommends that if you are even seeking out like a new hairstylist or a new nail technician, he recommends this for his guests, his clients, is to ask them, when was the last class you took? Not how long have you been doing nails, how long have you been doing hair, when was the last class you took? Yeah. And if it's been more than a year, then that's kind of a bit of a red flag. And I thought, ooh, that's good.
So good. That is.
And so that's one thing too we want to talk about, is to find and take the classes. Now, we all know, depending on your state and where you live, the nail industry is a little bit more laxed when it comes to education. There's a lot of schools that will just kind of push these nail techs out the door so they can pass their test. And unfortunately, you don't teach them beyond the fundamentals. So it is truly up to us to learn and grow and advance our education beyond the basics, right? And if you want to be good, you need to do this. So where do you recommend that our viewers and our audience find some good classes to take to get the education, to get the advanced education?
Okay, so I think we both have different opinions on this. One thing that I really wanted to make sure and point out is that you recognize what you like in nails, because I always relate nails back to an art form, okay? I'm really passionate about this, but it's an art form and everyone is unique. Remember when flared nails were so in, and maybe they still are for some people, because it's an art form, okay? Right. So if that's your style, you gotta know your style and what you like. So my point is, find what you like, find someone on Instagram, a picture of what they're doing, ask them what products they're using, and go from there. Like, so for me, I found this website, Christie's Nails. A lot of people followed her. She's a young nails tech, and did you follow her, Christie's Nails? So this was a long time ago. I don't know if she's blogging very much anymore, but christiesnails.com. She's a nail tech from Hawaii. I had this like starstruck moment when I met her at training a couple years ago. It was just awesome, because she's my first like.
Holly from C&D fingernail.
Oh, Holly's awesome. Yes. So I found her. I loved her work, and then I found out that she used Young Nails products, and then I found their website, and then I ordered product. So my point is, find the product and then stick to a brand. Jenny and I are both passionate about this. I love Young Nails. Jenny loves C&D, but find what's right for you. And then get involved in learning their systems like religiously, to create a foundation before you jump around. Because after you've like graduated the learning the systems, the foundation, like knowing that you kind of really got it, like you could do it in your sleep, the product so well, that's when I recommend bringing in new lines and new ideas and other things, because you create a strong foundation that way. So find a tech that you love, what they're doing, find the product, find out, and then research the product. Every manufacturer has great classes. And so that's what I did. It's like an hour and a half away from my house. I started going down to Glitter and Bliss and going to their classes. And then once a month, I would just go and I would just suck up all I could until, I took enough classes that I felt confident enough to qualify as an educator for the company. And that, creating that foundation, like I say, I've been doing nails for 8 years, we'll just say, right, because we, we already talked about that. But like, I feel like I got a new click in my brain, oh, I really get acrylic on a different level. I really get gel on a different level. And you got to give yourself that patience to get that click to happen. Like, it's going to take consistency in the salon. And I'm a full-time nail tech, so it's different for everyone, because a lot of people are like a few days a week or, on friends and family, but give yourself that patience. But I think I went on a couple different tangents.
No, that's perfect though. Absolutely. I mean, well, if you relate it back to art, like you were saying, that, you can't just like really pick up a paintbrush and start just like expressing your art. You have to learn the fundamentals and the colors and the color wheel and the different types of paints and the things like that, and canvases and charcoal, and find how to draw circles and your geometric shapes. And then once the fundamentals are there, then you can throw them out the window and just express freely.
Yes, and that's what all great artists do. Like, they gotta learn the basics, and then they find their style. That's why I say find a tech that you love their style. Because if you're finding someone who's not jiving with what you're doing, like, why would you look into their product line? Why would you look into what classes they went to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very similar with me and C&D. I actually really loved their product and like the consistency and the way it felt and things like that. So I was able to resonate with it very well. And then another place that you can find good classes and education is, again, like Dre was saying, on their website, they'll list their scheduled upcoming instructions in their class, or their instructors and the classes that are coming up. And C&D does the same thing. Also, you can go to your local beauty supply store. So I use Peerless because they carry C&D, but I know that there's other places like where do you go? Like Cosmo?
So Salon Centrics has a lot of Young Nails products. I go to direct distributors a lot of the time. Yeah, there's lots of different options for classes there.
I don't know.
I was gonna say,
Hansen,
if what?
Like Sally Hansen has things. I don't know, because I don't really use Sally, but I do know that like with Peerless, especially, and like other beauty product stores where you like can go in to get your products, you can ask them and say, hey, are there any events coming up? Are there any classes coming up? And they will usually have a little catalog or a list that will say, and sometimes they'll just throw it in your bag, and it will show you their different cells. And on the first, like usually on the front, first or second page of those catalogs is a list of classes. So, sometimes they don't tell you, they'll throw it in there, or you have to ask for it. But that can show you what's coming up in your area too. And sometimes it can be kind of expensive, a couple $100, for a class, but I really just cannot, it's so worth it. And I don't know if Young Nails does this, but I know that C&D, what they do, and they don't advertise this, but they give you more product than what the ticket price of the class is. So I remember I took like a shellac class, and I thought, I know how to paint shellac, that's easy. But I wanted to get my grandmaster, and to get my grandmaster, I needed advanced education for the shellac, acrylic, and the gel. And once you have all three, you're considered a grandmaster with C&D. And I just wanted that. I wanted the bragging rights. I wanted the credibility. I wanted the certificates, because that again goes a long way. Again, you can raise your prices, and that's another thing on its own. But I kind of thought, I don't, but I'm so glad I went to that class, because I learned so many just troubleshooting things that I would have not figured out on my own. And they also gave like a lamp, base coats, top coats, color. I mean, they gave well over however much the class taught me in free product. So it's
I love that. I've been to a C&D class before. It was like that, and I was like, oh, it's so fun to get the products.
Yeah, they like give you their baskets and purses. Did you get? Does Young Nails do things like that? Will they give you free product with their classes sometimes?
Yeah, I think the road show coming up, I want to say they give you the little starter kit pack, which is really awesome to have because you got to feel the product. You got to get used to, you know, what you're working with. One thing that I love is when I started going down to Glitter and Bliss in the distribution in American Fork, Utah. They have the tables all set up with everything, all the products. Like you have your own station and you have your own mannequin hand, like the really good kind ones.
Yeah.
And you go down there and you can take their courses, their classes, and you can just use you can go to town. You can use all their products and just like actually work with all the products. It's so awesome. Same thing when you go to corporate in California, they have like room to fit like, oh my gosh, so many people, probably like 50 people in this classroom, and everybody gets their own station with 2 mannequin hands, your own light, everything. And you can just play with everything. And what they do is a 1-week course, and you can like, you go and you can do the gel course, you can do the acrylic course, but the whole week, like by the end of the week, you do 8 sets of nails. Like that whole day, on the last day, you do 8 sets of nails in one day, and they teach you how to do it like amazing. Like we're all, it's such a great class. I love it.
Like, that's something too, is like I've always done C&D, and I was talking to Dre, I'm like, I want to start learning some young nails techniques now, because now I know, but
You got the foundation.
foundation. And now I wanted to say too that I think I was doing nails, like I joke, but I'd done nails maybe like 6 or 7 years before acrylic finally clicked for me.
Clicks.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I could lay acrylic like no.
Oh yeah. I know. Isn't that weird? It's like
just a yeah.
It makes me sad that people will give up on it or be like, oh, I'm not good at this, and switch before the click happens. And it's kind of like, if you've ever heard of that book or read the book 3 Feet from Gold, it's about this miner who was like the gold rush time going after this vein of gold. And that's how like the gold goes, like the mineral, like in the earth, like it's this vein, and he's following it, or he's mapped it out where it's supposed to be, and he stops because it's been years, he's been trying. He quits, he sells the mining equipment and the location to someone else, and in 3 feet of digging, they figure it out mathematically or whatever. 3 feet later from where the guy stopped, they find the gold. And it's just like
the biggest ever,
the biggest discovery ever of gold. And it's like, it's crazy, but that's like what it's like when you quit. You're like, you never know how close you were to having that light bulb moment, right? I'm like, no, like just keep at it. And you know, we can say that because we've been doing it so long, but we can't even like, how do we voice enough how to motivate you guys? But it's so worth it because and I even like a couple years ago, I was looking at texts because like, for example, Melissa De La Cruz, I think is her name, in Young Nails, she could like whip out $1,000 day because she could do a certain number of gel polishes per day and upcharge for art. And I was like, I just could never do that. And before LED became really big, I would look at that and be like, it takes me 2 minutes to paint the other hand. Like I can't even fathom getting it done in 30 seconds so that we can like switch hands for an LED lamp. And finally, it's this year, it's been clicking to where like my services are within an hour, and I couldn't fathom that could happen, that I could do an enhancement, you know, within an hour, that I could do a structured almond nail within an hour. Like I don't even know like what I did differently other than like really being firm on my my systems and, you know, all the things that I've learned, and just being like strict with that, and just always, you know, going back to the basics, and just like getting that stuck in my head to a point of where I can be efficient in my work, and then all the other stuff can like fall into place.
It's so true though, because like I am so guilty of doing this in other areas of my life where I think there's a more like effective, efficient way to do things because I have like this maximizer strength in me. And so, but with like nails and things like that, it's more like don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go outside and be super creative until those fundamentals are really instilled in you. And then once you've got it, then you can just run and go. But again, just be patient, but it takes
totally
help getting that education helps because you're with other like-minded people.
Yes.
You can ask the right questions and not feel, because sometimes we'll get on like YouTube and we're like, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that? And then it's like just some people, there's not a lot of like real nail techs that post stuff very much, or they have their own way of doing things. And unless it's like through the company's like videos or brands videos that they're teaching, you can get info that way. But when you're actually there doing it with an instructor, seeing it, touching the product, like it can just, it's like quantum leap type stuff.
Oh, that reminds me of a story before we give our last two tips. I was taking a one-on-one from Amanda. This is actually part of one of my tips, so I'll go right into that. I was taking a one-on-one course from Amanda, and she'd been teaching me, like I was a student in a class of like 10 people or something for years. But when I signed up for a one-on-one, did this with her, like she was like, okay, I'm just going to watch you for a minute. She watched me do some things. And then she was like, oh, Andrea, no, like do this like this. And I was like, really? That helped so much. Like I had no idea I was doing it wrong. It was something the way like I did with my acrylic. I swear it had to do with like filling up my acrylic too full. And then I couldn't get the right amount on my brush. Anyways, I didn't know what I was doing until I didn't know it was wrong. And she didn't know to teach me that until I had the product in front of me and she let me do it and watched me do it and then was able to speak it to me.
And that just probably changed everything.
And it like changed everything. There's these aha nuggets. I mean, why you guys be thinking of aha nuggets? We're going to tell you why, of like classes that you've been to. But that takes me into my tip is find a nail tech to shadow. Reach out to your network in your area. I drove an hour and a half to get to this space. So expand your bubble, because if you get too close to your zone, like nail techs are typically kind of doing the same types of nails. And it's like, well, I already know that, So like expand a little bit farther from like where like maybe they might not feel too competitive with you. Do you know what I mean? Like go an hour so they won't be like, well, let me give you all my tricks so you can take all my clients. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I don't believe in competition, but you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
So find someone who you can shadow. And some people do it for free. Some people do it for like $10+ an hour to sit with them and to just watch them do nails. Yeah. It's so valuable. I've done this multiple times. I love just soaking in, and you're like, oh my gosh, they just use their, brush to dip into their pot and like, it's like, moments. Like I didn't even think of that, but we all come up with these little creative things that could help just like blow your mind, like little nugget. Yeah. So what's your last tip, Jenny?
It's so true. It's the same thing with just like also seeing other people's rhythm helps.
Oh yeah. Rhythm systems, like how many nails before you cure, like.
Yeah, and like the certain like rhythm of it.
System, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like watching my aunt before she moved and she retired. I just was like, can I just come watch you?
Yeah.
Like, last day of work, because I was taking on some of her clients too before she moved. And I filmed, and she's like, can I film this? She's like, yes, but you better not put it on YouTube, because she didn't want me to like have it up there. But I recorded it, and I just would watch her, and just sit there and just shadow her and watch her and like see her rhythm and the way that she did things with every client. And it's just like, the more I watched and the more I saw her repeat the things, the more and more things kind of clicked for me, which was really helpful. And then I played with the way she did things, and then kind of with what I had learned and did them like my own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just things like that. And I can't remember, what was my last topic? Oh, I did want to say something on shadowing. So when you are like asking to shadow somebody, I think you will often find too that sometimes people that you think are like, oh, is this like competition or whatever, that they become your biggest allies. Like there's a nail tech in my area. There's a few of us actually, and we'll send, like, if we can't get someone in, we'll send like clients to each other, and and that's like a good support system of just helping the community and helping the nail technicians and helping each other. And maybe if somebody wants something that I feel like, I'm not great at, or if I'm full or if I'm busy, I have people I can send them to. And we just we'll send each other over
Yeah, and clients appreciate the honesty instead of being like, sorry, I'm fully booked. You know what I mean? It's like options, I'm booked. She can get you in this time and when we can schedule you 6 weeks out instead of 3. And
right?
so, clients really appreciate that. And the honesty of like, you know what, I don't know how to do that design. Let me do your base and let me send you over here for like that awesome rhinestone design,
Right.
or whatever.
Whatever.
So
They do appreciate it. And then they're like, you're so nice, or they respect you a lot more
oh
because
yeah.
you're willing, because again, it's about them and you're willing to help them.
Yeah, for
So,
whatever you want.
yeah, that's something that's like really, I don't know, that's really good. But let's see. Where is my topic? I lost it. Can you find it?
One more. Oh, did you have one more tip for finding classes?
I think
Or did you have something else about education? I don't know.
I think we covered them all. Didn't we?
I covered all of mine.
Yeah.
So
Mine was just to make sure that you look online and ask your local beauty supply store, and shadowing. Those were my biggest things.
Yeah, those are huge.
Those are huge. So I think that was all of them.
So we want to remind you guys a little bit what we talked about. So clarity on education. What it looks like is not having the same number, or doing nails for 1 year. My words today. Doing nails for 1 year 10 times. It doesn't look like that. It's about constantly leveling up. That's what education is about. Constantly leveling up each year, doing something you've never done before, expanding the possibilities, and it's endless. Like it's just a staircase, right?
Push yourself to grow. Really do. Yeah.
Yeah. And stay motivated, stay connected to a Facebook group of people like look at these nails. Like when the chrome nails came out, everybody went crazy on nail tech group pages. They were just like, you guys look at this. Like the motivation of helping each other to get educated, to learn how to do that. Like stay plugged into that. It's so helpful. And then just our tips for education. Find the foundation product that you want to get into. Build on that foundation. Study out where their classes are. Be willing to invest in yourself and go farther than you, invest in a class that maybe takes you to a trade show, that takes you outside of your state. That is so mind opening, like expanding to like go out of your state to go to a class. I love it. I loved traveling.
I've never taken a class out of state.
So fun.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
It was so fun at qualifications for Young Nails because we had people from New York, from Florida, from Pennsylvania, from Arizona, all of us together in California. Like there were so many of us. There was maybe like 50 to 60 of us. And then we were playing all with nail stuff and doing some creative design work. And we were like, oh my gosh, look at this idea. We walk around everyone's stations. Like it's so amazing. It just expands possibility for you. So yeah, plug into that for sure. So those are in our top tips, shadowing so big, and invest in yourself and your business.
Don't be afraid to reach out to someone you admire and say like, hey,
yes,
I'm in the Sherman area. Do you care if I
It's the biggest compliment. I love when people, you gotta.
Because I think I know, for speaking for myself, and I know that AnDrea is the same way, that we just want to help the industry.
Yes.
This is a huge part of like why we do this show, is that we just want to really help the industry and fill in those pieces that maybe some of you are missing. So that's just huge. Don't be afraid to reach out and just ask, because worst case scenario, someone's like, oh, I don't have time, or they say no, and then you can find someone else,
Absolutely. Yes.
And also, I don't know, if you have an opportunity, I think, to teach someone too that's maybe new coming in, like let's say you work for a salon and you all work together as a team, and there's like a new nail technician coming in and they are feeling a little lost or whatever, like maybe you could even offer to let them hang out by you, or you can teach them some things, or let them shadow you as well.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes I would have these aha moments while I was teaching someone,
Totally.
and I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
just made sense to me as
Yeah.
I was teaching or training someone else. Do you know? So
Absolutely. That happens to me all the time with my apprentice because she'll be like asking me questions and I'll explain it to her, then I'll be like, oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, okay. Or I'll do something different in my technique because I was watching her do it one way that wasn't working, and I'll be like, this would actually be better. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So we have a call to action for you guys. We want you to remember that we have an awesome Facebook group page because this is all about interaction, and we want to hear from you guys. So
Yes.
I'll let Jenny tell us about that.
So head over to Beauties Talking Business on our Facebook page. It's called Beauties Talking Business. I will also put a link in all the description box, and then at the bottom of this video we'll have a link to it. And then also and if you go to the website too, there's community, which will take you straight to it. But I'll just put a direct link to the Facebook group in the description. Go over to the Facebook group, and we want to hear from you. What was it? The last class you've taken?
Yep. We want to hear what was the last class you took, and what was your one nugget that you took away from that class, and share with us.
Share with us, because as you share too, it's going to help all of us, you know? And so that's something that's huge too. So come over to the Facebook group, let us know the last class you took. And if you haven't taken a class, you know, that's all right. Let us know. We could let us know that too if you want. And then, or something that you've learned and that what your nugget of wisdom is. And we just hope to see you over there in the group. And thank you so much for watching Beauties Talking Business and taking the time to really set aside this time and to watch and help just support our community as we grow together. And we just love and appreciate all of you so much. And I don't know, Dre and I are trying to come up with a really clever sign off. So
yeah, maybe we should vote on it.
that's a good idea. We should, like, come up with a couple and vote on it. But all we know for sure is that we know that you are beautiful inside and out, and we want you to make sure that you're taking care of that inner beauty so that it can shine in your work on the outside and taking care of other people. And yeah,
Love it. Lovely.
and
We'll
remember,
see you.
every week,
Yeah.
we're here. So make sure you check the show next week. So thanks so much.
You guys, thanks for being on. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
So we really hoped you enjoyed this week's episode with AnDrea Pettingill and Jenny A. Hansen. Make sure that you catch us every week where we talk beauties, talkingbusiness.com, and please join the Facebook group if you have not already. Head on over to Beauties Talking Business and click that join button. We will welcome you there into the community. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Everyone have a beautiful day. Bye.